In this modern age where we have safety and security and our worries stopped revolving around our basic needs and survival and shifted towards seeking happiness and the individual success, being a young person who is growing up is honestly very confusing and difficult. We are constantly fed from the people around us and on the internet by different information and opinions telling us what is important in life and what we should prioritize and how to be successful and become happy. And all of these different opinions and information tend to contradict each other to the point where we feel lost and unsure what is the best life we can have and how to actually reach that. We get overwhelmed from all the different options and choices that we have, and we become unable to make certain decisions on our own from a fear of making the wrong ones and wasting our lives chasing the wrong things. And making a conscious choice to commit to one thing and one path becomes a very daunting task, and consequently our goals in life become unclear to us and shattered to a million pieces. If you have been struggling like me with this problem and you are just starting on your self-improvement journey, having a specific and clear goals in your life and planning a linear path to work on these goals can be very difficult and almost unrealistic in such a world where most of us aren't even sure if what we are doing is the right thing or not, and our future vision is blurry. What I would like to suggest in this video and what I have noticed in my own journey is that for a while your goals don't have to be clear, and you don't necessarily need specific big goals in order to do things and take action. You just need to do something, anything. Take small steps, and these steps are going to lead you somewhere. And when time passes, your actual goals and values are going to reveal themselves and become clear to you. What matters in the beginning, and even in later stages for that matter, isn't really your goals. It is the amount of actions that you are taking and the process that you are going through. I spent a big chunk of my 20s doing basically nothing in my life. I had no aims and no goals, and I didn't know what I wanted in my life and what really mattered to me. When I started with self-improvement, I didn't know what I was looking for. I was just done with living in a passive way, and I wanted to make a change. And so I started to read tons and tons of self-help books. And I applied all the different things that I read without really knowing where that would lead me. I just did what these books were suggesting. I did things and took action without really knowing the destination. I started to take cold showers, going to the gym, meditating and sleeping earlier, and I also quitted bad habits like scrolling social media and smoking, and all of that actually made my life feel much better. I started to have more energy, more confidence, and I appreciated the little things more, and my relationship with myself deepened and my interests started to become more clear to me. And I decided that it was the time to learn some new skills. I wanted to learn how to do art and to make YouTube videos, as these two things were at the top of my interests. And taking all of these small steps and actions and implementing good habits gave me momentum and made learning these new hobbies from scratch feel much less scary and more realistic. And so I did that. I took action yet again without having any clear goal in mind. I have now been drawing for 2 years, and it's been 6 months since I have taken the YouTube thing more seriously. My future plans and goals were slowly being shaped, and my future vision isn't blurry anymore. I know now that I am committed to YouTube and that I want to become a professional content creator and tell stories from my own life and lessons that I have learned that might inspire other people to improve their mental health. This goal of mine and my future vision didn't really exist in the past. If I didn't take certain actions just for the sake of it, I wouldn't have reached this point where I actually know what I want in my life. Taking action was what made my goals clear, and not the other way around. Laying in my bed, daydreaming about things and overthinking led me nowhere. Spending less time in my head and doing more was the thing that radically shifted the trajectory of my life. And I have to thank all the different self-help books that I read for helping me to finally take action and do productive things in my life. When you are a teenager or maybe in your early 20s, most likely you were bombarded by the opinions of other people online and in real life who were telling you what you should do in your life. And that probably led you to either doing nothing from being too confused like I was, or to take a path that you thought was yours but wasn't really what you deeply wanted. And you only start to realize that years in the future when you decide to shift your life and find what you are really interested in. When you are starting to work on yourself and you are in that phase of not really knowing who you are deep inside, making a life-changing decision can feel scary. You don't have a basis to assess if the decision is right or wrong. And where do you even start with change? Where to begin? What a self-help book tends to offer is a guide to doing things. A collection of information from science, psychology, philosophy, and history meshed together in one book telling you what to do, how to do it, and why doing that can change your life. These type of books contain general knowledge that has worked for other people and is guaranteed to at least spark a change in you. And for someone who doesn't know anything about their interests and values, nor about making changes and taking action, this collection of information can feel like a gold mine. And they are going to help you tremendously, but only for a while. Self-help books are frowned upon by many people, and for a good reason. It is because if a person follows them literally and for a long time, these books might lead them on a path that isn't really right for them, and they might become rigid in following these rules and guidelines, that they would stop relying completely on their inner compass in making any decision in their lives. They would be just doing what these books are telling them and nothing more. And when that happens, we just go back to square one and to the same problem in modern society that I mentioned earlier, following different information and opinions from external sources that tells us what to do and make us lose agency in our life and go on a path that isn't really our making. So following these books religiously is obviously not a good thing, but for someone who is just starting with change and they don't have a clear inner compass to begin with, making big and firm decisions might seem impossible. And when you are stuck in a rut, trying new things that you have never done before might be the best thing that you can do. These new things might get you unstuck and help develop your inner compass and decision-making ability. And self-help books do offer a lot of different things for people to try. The key is to realize that these books are not meant to be followed for the rest of your life and to be taken way too literally. These books offer things to try and to see what happens, to see how you feel about it. If something works in your favor, that's great, and if not, you learn and try something else. You try and try again and you see what sticks. The self-help books trap is something that I had fallen into myself. As I mentioned before, in the beginning of my self-improvement journey, I read a lot of books and did a lot of things without having any idea where that would lead me. And all that I read and applied did help me change, but once I started to know myself better and understand my values and goals and all the different things that I want from this life, these books started to backfire and take me on a path where I didn't really want to go. What was working for a while stopped working. And it took me a long while to realize that I had to stop applying certain things that I have learned if I wanted to go on the new path that I foresaw for myself and I was shaping on my own. A path that required applying my own thoughts and decision-making skills. If I wanted to go further in the journey, I had to rely on my inner compass. When we read a self-help book, we might tend to think that everything written is perfect and true and it works like magic. And we forget that a human being, an individual with flaws and all, is the one who wrote it. These types of books are meant to help you and not to hold your life under control. You might think that not following everything correctly might mean that you are a failure or a loser. Believe me, I have felt that. And that's how it can feel in the beginning. That if we don't apply something in a book, or if something doesn't work, it means that nothing will work and we can't change and improve. And that is just not true. Everything that we say and do, and all the different rules and laws and guides that we make are based on human decisions. No matter what information you get and what people tell you to do, you should always question the information presented. Just ask yourself, is this true or not? Should I do this in my life? Is this the right thing for me? Nothing is really fixed and certain. When we follow something, we should always keep an eye open and reflect on what we are doing, making sure that we are on the right path and that we are thinking for ourselves.